In the heart of ancient Israel, in times of oppression and chaos, arose the imposing figure of Deborah, a woman of unwavering faith, chosen by God to lead his people. God's word transforms. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a study that could change your story. Deborah was a prophetess, receiving divine guidance and wisdom from the Lord. As a judge, she resolved conflicts and offered counsel, her words carrying the weight of divine authority. Deborah's wisdom was recognized by all. People from distant lands sought her out, eager to hear her pronouncements and receive her guidance. Deborah listened attentively and compassionately to the concerns of each person. With unwavering faith, she guided them to the one true God, reminding them of his unwavering love and faithfulness. Deborah's connection with God was undeniable. She sought his guidance in all things, spending hours in prayer and meditation. The Lord spoke to her clearly, revealing his plans and purposes. Deborah, in turn, faithfully conveyed God's messages to the Israelites, inspiring hope and courage in their hearts. Her leadership was marked by strength but also by compassion. Deborah was a beacon of hope in times of despair, a living testament to the power of a life surrendered to God. Learn, be inspired, and deepen your knowledge of the Bible. Subscribe now and ring the bell so you don't miss any powerful teachings. For 20 long years, the Israelites endured the brutal oppression of Jabin, the king of Canaan. His army, led by the ruthless Sisera, inflicted unimaginable suffering on God's chosen people. The Israelites cried out to the Lord, their hearts filled with despair. They longed for a liberator, someone who could break the chains of oppression and guide them to freedom. God heard their cries. He saw their pain and their desperate need for deliverance, and in his infinite wisdom, he turned to Deborah, his faithful servant. He would use her to orchestrate the liberation of his people, to demonstrate his power and strength against their enemies. God spoke to Deborah, giving her a clear command, to summon a man named Barak, a courageous warrior. Deborah was to inform him that the Lord had chosen him to lead the Israelite army against Sisera. God promised victory, assuring Deborah that he would deliver their enemies into their hands. With every video, a new biblical lesson to strengthen your faith. Don't miss out, subscribe and hit the notification bell to grow spiritually. Deborah immediately sent for Barak. When he stood before her, she relayed God's message, detailing the plan for their freedom. Barak listened intently, his heart filled with a mix of fear and anticipation. He knew this was a divine calling, a chance to fight for his people and their freedom. However, fear still held him back. He doubted his own abilities. Barak hesitated, expressing his reluctance to lead the army unless Deborah agreed to go with him. He needed her unwavering faith and the assurance of God's presence that she brought. Deborah, without hesitation, agreed to accompany Barak. She knew her presence would bolster the spirit of the Israelite army. However, she also prophesied that the glory of the victory would not belong to Barak. God had decreed that Sisera would be defeated by the hands of a woman. Barak gathered 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun. With Deborah by his side, they marched towards Mount Tabor, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. Sisera's army, with its 900 iron chariots, awaited them in the valley. The sight of the Canaanite army was intimidating, their chariots gleaming menacingly under the scorching sun. Deborah, sensing the fear that threatened to grip the Israelite army, spoke words of encouragement and faith. She reminded them that the Lord was with them, fighting for them. Her words ignited a fire in their hearts, replacing fear with courage and determination. Then, God intervened. A torrential rain began to fall, turning the battlefield into a muddy swamp. The Canaanite chariots, once a symbol of their strength, became stuck in the mud, rendered useless. Panic spread through the Canaanite ranks as the Israelites, strengthened by God's power, pressed their attack. The battle raged on, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Lord fought for Israel that day, defeating Sisera's army. The Canaanite forces, overcome and terrified, were put to flight. Sisera, desperate to escape the carnage, abandoned his chariot and fled on foot. Israel's victory is a testament to God's faithfulness and unwavering love for his people. Deborah and Barak, filled with gratitude and awe, raised their voices in a song of praise to the Lord. Their victory song, recorded in the book of Judges, remains an eternal testament to God's power and faithfulness. It celebrated not only the military triumph, but also the courage of the Israelites who, after years of oppression, rose up to fight for their freedom. The song became a source of inspiration for future generations, a reminder that God is always with his people, fighting for them even in their darkest hours. Deborah's story is a powerful example of how faith and courage can change everything. She was a woman who dared to trust in God, even when things seemed impossible. She didn't let being a woman or the rules of her time stop her from making a difference. Instead, she answered God's call with strong faith, becoming a helper for God and a light of hope for her people. Her story teaches us that God can use anyone, no matter where they come from, if they are a man or a woman or what their weaknesses are, to do what he wants. When we give our lives to him and are ready to serve him, he can use us in amazing ways. Deborah's legacy goes way beyond her own time. Her story still inspires us today, reminding us that with God, anything is possible. Like Deborah, we are called to live with courage and faith, trusting in God's plans even when we don't fully understand them. God's Word changes lives. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a study that could change your story. Deborah's life invites us to step out of our comfort zones and embrace God's call in our lives. We might feel inadequate, unprepared, or scared. We might question our abilities, wondering if we are truly capable of the tasks set before us. Remember, God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. He sees our potential, the strength that lies hidden within us. He knows what we are capable of when we surrender our fears and insecurities to him. When we say yes to God, taking a step of faith even when we're afraid, we open ourselves to a life of purpose and adventure. We become instruments of his love, grace, and power. We become agents of change, making a difference in the world around us. Deborah's story reminds us that true strength isn't in our own abilities, but in relying on God. When we admit our weaknesses and give them to him, his power becomes perfect in us. It's in our vulnerable moments that we discover how huge his grace is, and how limitless his love is. Like the Israelites facing the powerful Canaanite army, we can feel overwhelmed by life's challenges. But we should remember that the battle belongs to the Lord. When we put our trust in him, when we rely not on our own understanding but on his infinite wisdom and power, we'll discover that he is more than capable of fighting our battles for us. He will make a way where there seems to be no way, bringing victory even in the middle of seemingly impossible obstacles. As we reflect on Deborah's story, let's be filled with hope. No matter what challenges we may face, no matter how impossible the odds may seem, we can be sure that God is with us. He is fighting for us, orchestrating events for our good and his glory. Our victory song may not be as we expect. It may not come in our time or in the way we imagine, but we can be sure that God is faithful. He will complete the work he began in us. Let's embrace a future full of hope, knowing that the same God who freed the Israelites from oppression is the same God who walks with us today. He is our banner of victory, our shield and defender. Deborah's story isn't just an old story stuck in the pages of the Bible, it's a timeless message of hope and courage that goes beyond time and culture. It's a story worth sharing, a story that can inspire future generations. Share Deborah's story with your friends, your family, your kids. Let her courage light a fire in their hearts. Let her unshakable faith inspire them to be brave, to embrace God's calling in their own lives. Let Deborah's legacy live on, not just in words but in actions, as we strive to live lives that reflect her courage, her faith, and her unwavering devotion to the God who calls us by name.